Good morning, and welcome to the press conference here today. As many of you know, we are celebrating 100 years of City Hall, and we are planning a Civic Center celebration for the people of San Francisco and the tourists and people from around the world to come to and celebrate this beautiful, majestic building. Celebrating 100 years of City Hall gives us the perfect opportunity to honor this building's past history, the architecture, the seismic retrofits, and also bring this building into the future, whether it's innovation, technology, and also becoming economically sustainable. Not only just economically sustainable, but environmentally sustainable. And so we have done great improvements to this building. And the first one we did to celebrate this 100 years of City Hall is to replace the 220 incandescent lights, exterior lights around this building with LED lights. And not only will this make City Hall more energy efficient, it will also reduce our operating costs. Thank you. City Hall Centennial Celebration at Civic Center Plaza will be held on June 19th, which gives us an opportunity to celebrate as what Mayor Sonny Jim Rolph coined the People's Palace. And this is what our beautiful City Hall will be when San Francisco and visitors from all over the country and the world will come here that day. The event will begin at 6 p.m., featuring music from eras of the past 100 years, delicious food from food trucks, and will have an interactive element and activities. And it will end with a beautiful light LED show with a multimedia projection lighting system produced by Obscura Digital, which will take you through a visual journey through the past 100 years and into the present today. We have with us here today Mayor Ed Lee, former Mayor Willie Brown, our Chief of Protocol, Charlotte Shultz, along with Steve Ravetria and Mick Hellman, who will go through what this event will be over the next year in June. And as part of this, the centennial year, as part of this celebration, we will also be producing a documentary. And with that, I'd like to bring up our Mayor, Edwin Lee. You can see I'm a little bit nervous right now. I'm stumbling over my words. I have both mayors here, but they will be up here to talk about what a great event we're going to have. Mayor Ed Lee.
Okay, Naomi, that tells me a lot. Everybody, thank you. Thanks for coming. This is a wonderful time. We're here at City Hall, and of course, I was joking when I wished Mayor Brown a happy 100th birthday. But anyway, first of all, I do want to say officially welcome to the People's Palace. This is, of course, a time when we get a chance to reflect not just the brick and mortar, although I must say, every time I have a chance to look up and look around, I have to marvel at a building that moves in base isolators, and it's become just a beautiful, beautiful building. And everybody that I've ever talked with that stepped foot, whether it's in the elevators, having their hands on the gold railings, walking up the rotunda, coming up here, or over to their meetings in the different floors, their eyes are always looking everywhere and marveling at this historic building. And as I look around today, most importantly are the people who occupy and come through and make this building come alive. That's all of you and the thousands of people that come through every single day. I want to express, again, from the very start, a big thank you to Mayor Brown, to Protocol Chief Charlotte Shultz, to our Senator Feinstein. When we first began talking about how to properly celebrate 100 years of this building, we obviously talked about the history of our city and what it meant to each one of us and our own personal histories. And I wanted to say thank you to all of them for agreeing to be the honorary chairs for this event. I know that they know in their hearts that this city is a wonderful place because of its people, and there's an opportunity here to talk about the first 100 years of our city, but also to suggest what we do with the next 100 years and what direction that we have. I want to give a special thanks to Tanya and Rich Peterson because of your tireless efforts. You recognized from the start that in order to have a proper celebration, we need to include everybody and have the resources to be able to do that. So I want to say a special thank you to you because your efforts have resulted in a tremendous outpouring of understanding and inclusiveness in the city. And a special thanks for the June 19th Centennial Celebration to Stephen Rivetri and Mick Hellman. Thank you again for your leadership in making sure this celebration is extremely meaningful, well beyond the physical attributes that this building has. All of you, thank you for being here and joining Naomi and the rest of the staff and all the volunteers and the fundraisers for celebrating and helping us celebrate the last 100 years. There's going to be, and there has been, lots of stories to be able to tell about this city. And I know that this allows us to also remember how resilient our city has been in the past 100 years and how many times the people of this great city came together to help each other out. It's an opportunity to showcase that. And also, there's a moment here during this celebration when we'll have an opportunity to kind of recommit ourselves to the values the city has had in its peoples of the past, its present, and its future. And to make sure that we recommit ourselves to the sharing of the prosperity of this city as it always has attempted to do and has done in the past. We are already doing that with the current agenda of this administration. We're building more homes for people at record levels. We're improving our transportation network. And again, I suggest to you, go to any major city and ask them, do they have no-cost municipal rides for their low-income students and their young people, or their seniors, or their people with disabilities? You will not find a city that has done so. We're making sure that we have a no-cuts budget so that better and more services can be had by all of our residents in every neighborhood. We will continue to make record investments in our public schools and invest in our infrastructures just like we're doing with this City Hall. And as we've said time and time again, we know it's more than a building of brick and mortar. And it's much more because it has been a symbol of hope for people not just here, but around the world. Our City Hall's storied history has been a trailblazer for social policies that have global impact. Just marvel at the time that we had when we suggested and then implemented the marriage licenses for same-sex marriage. Global impact. And our entire city continues to serve as a symbol of hope. When we make announcements here, when we have protocol and Consul General's offices from around the world celebrate here, or we have the latest announcement about what challenges we might have and what answers we may have to those challenges. It's a place like our city where the world does change. We are an international leader in civil rights. We're a city of dreamers and doers, and we are in fact a city of innovation. In fact, the innovation capital of the world. This is what City Hall means to so many people. And just as we lead the nation in human rights, we also lead in environmental justice and environmental standards. And as Naomi said, we are now the oldest building in all of the United States to receive the LEED Platinum certification for a building that conserves energy and water conservation. And with the additional upgrades on the solar panels and the energy efficient lighting that Naomi described, we are getting prepared for the next 100 years. So I'm proud that this celebration is a unique public-private celebration, demonstrates how world-class that we are in our philanthropy, And this is another example. The partnerships that we've formed in this city has helped our homeless families succeed more, has gotten rid of single mothers on the streets with children more and more. We've created a free muni for low-income youth with our philanthropy. We've had some of the tremendous investments in public education because of philanthropy, and we have a world-class care at our own general hospital because of these public-private relationships. So I want to say again, thank you to each and every one of the philanthropists that are here today, to the world-class family foundations that many of you are associated with, the historians, and of course, the businesses that have stepped up time and time again to create opportunities to make sure this city is a city for the 100%. And we are going to have an illustrious centennial celebration on Friday, June 19th, to celebrate our 100th birthday of this great city, of this building, and all the examples that we can muster up. I want to say thank you because you're allowing us to tell these stories through the various mediums, through the spots on the public stations, as well as having a gathering, a free gathering of people who want to come down and just be part of an incredible light show that we're probably going to have. And it's suggested that the light shows may begin a little early because some NBA basketball championship we're on our way to do. So again, thank you everyone. Thank you to our supervisors for being here and part of this celebration. Thank you for working so tremendously together for this wonderful opportunity to celebrate with all of our residents in the city. Congratulations to everyone. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mayor Lee. I also want to acknowledge Supervisor Christensen and Supervisor Marr, who are here today. Thank you. So about a year ago, I had the opportunity, a little over a year ago, sit down with Mayor Brown and Chief of Protocol Charlotte Shultz, and to get their ideas on what should we do to celebrate 100 years of City Hall. And it was wonderful because I got to be a fly on that wall as the two of them went through a trip down memory lane of all the great civic celebrations that have happened here in this beautiful building. And then they proceeded to give me advice on to expand on Mayor Lee's vision of a great lighting show and to be environmentally sustainable, but all of the great things that we should do to celebrate this building. So I'd like to bring up next Chief of Protocol Charlotte Shultz and Mayor Brown.
Happy birthday, Mayor Lee. Okay. Here we go. This building really wouldn't be here to be lit in its form that it's in today without Mayor Brown, because as you know, we had a little earthquake, and you caused it. No. And so you fixed up this building. What'd you do?
Well, in reality, Charlotte, when elected in 1996, sworn in, one of the first things that we did was try to figure out how to get back in this building. The building had been damaged in '89, and our friend Mayor Agnos had the responsibility to try to do something about it. In '91, Frank Jordan, then the mayor, took over, and all of the things that they were trying to do did not seem to work because there just was not enough money. There was just not enough money. Most of the money, as Mayor Lee said, went into the base isolation, which is this building's on rollers. It can go, I think, 5 feet in any direction without any trouble whatsoever and no damage at all. But the interior of the building, the way it was done by Arthur Brown when he first did all the architecture in the building, had been so eroded over the years with people covering the light courts and all of those kinds of things, and with people adding more people in here that it shouldn't have been here. And so in '96, when we inherited the job, and Ed Lee was a part of that, so was Harlan Kelly, Naomi's husband, Mark Primo, and the real star of that was a guy named Tony Irons, if you remember, who was like the point person. And then we got Louise Rennie, and we got Barbara Kaufman, then the president of the Board of Supervisors, and we got Susan Liao to convince the people who were in Silicon Valley, use us as an example of how you can make something 50 years ahead of its time in terms of making this building retrofitted in such a way that it would be the kind of building Mayor Lee talked about when he said innovations. And then we, of course, needed to make sure that it looked okay. If you remember, we got Don Fisher and the handicapped disability people to sign on. We made this building what Arthur Brown had in mind. And that's what makes it so magnificent. The only thing we didn't do, and Naomi and Ed Lee should do it now, is, you remember I lost a fight.
You lost a fight?
Yes, I wanted to put the industrial kitchen in this building.
Yeah, so did
now
I.
you have all these damn trucks out there warming the food up. We really should have had an industrial kitchen, and I think now that there's not one word of criticism about what we ultimately did. It was originally Taj Mawili, is the way the Chronicle put it, and that's what we were trying to do. And in reality, we were trying to do what Mayor Lee said, make it the People's Palace.
That's
and
right.
we made it the People's
And we
Palace.
need food, and we need a kitchen.
That is correct. And so from the first day that this building opened, it has been a winner. I mean, it has been something that everybody just absolutely loves. You come here like I did yesterday, and there must have been 50 or 60 people getting married. I'm a practicing lawyer. I do divorces. I passed on my card, just in case.
Well, you know, you fixed up the building, Willie, but it was, if you can believe it, it was here long, long before you, for your birthday. And I remember being at the city, at the Chamber of Commerce, and it was when, before your time, and the King of Norway was coming. And somebody said, well, where can we have it? Said, isn't it too bad we don't have a palace? And I said, we do have a palace. And they said, where? And I said, City Hall. And they said, no, just people lie in state there. And I said, well, let's just wake them up. We're moving in. So I went to Alioto, the mayor, and said, we got to do something about the judges upstairs. And he said, because they don't like the noise, we're going to have a big party. And he said, tell them to play golf. And I said, with all due respect, Mr. Mayor, could you tell them to go play golf? But, you know, this place has been filled with, in your administration and with Mayor Lee and many mayors before, of people coming from around the world. And this is a place that we've been proud of to showcase our city. And they come here not just for parties or whatever. They come here for doing business and exchanging ideas. And so I remember that after that king, there's been many kings, princesses, prime ministers, presidents, and the premier of China. When China opened up, the premier of China came to San Francisco before going to Washington, and we had thousands of people here. I don't think we had the fire chief, not invited. So it was really quite an affair to have the premier of China. So a few days later, I got a call from the White House, and they said, Mike Deaver, and he said, Charlotte, there's good news and bad news. And I said, well, what's the good news? And he said, the premier of China had dinner with President Ronald Reagan in the White House. And I said, well, he had to eat somewhere. And I said, well, what's the bad news? He said, the premier of China said the highlight of his visit to the United States was San Francisco. So we hear that all the time, and now Mayor Lee has been so wonderful to participate with all of our, we have 88 consuls general. We fly their flag on their national day, and very proudly, and have their constituents come here. Mayor Lee has met with the president of France, the mayor of Paris, our sister city. This week on Thursday, you'll meet with the British ambassador. Next Tuesday, you meet with the Lord Mayor of Cork, and I know you want to be called the Lord Mayor because he wants to be called the Lord Mayor, and we're working on it. Then, of course, we will have all of the mayors, which you started them coming here on the 19th. There'll be several hundred mayors from the United States, all over the United States, at a big event here inside before we go outside for this wonderful light show that Naomi and the mayor have promised us with all the help of wonderful people to help make that happen. And then a week later will be the Secretary General of the United Nations celebrating the 70th anniversary of the signing of the United Nations here. So this place is rocking and rolling, and besides all of the people from far away, how about the celebrations? We did have some Super Bowl celebrations. I don't know about that now, but we do have the 50th Super Bowl coming here, and a big event will be here. And then, of course, we have big celebrations for the Giants, and we want to do it again. Stephen, you got it? And I'm tired of crawling out the window putting those orange gels on. So thank you, because now we're going to punch a button and the lights will go on in your restored City Hall.
And in response to the question put to me this morning, Mayor Lee, by someone as I walked in, where will the Warriors celebration be for the championship? And I said, you're in it.
Okay.
All right.
I told you, a trip down memory lane. So next up, I'd like to invite our partners in putting on this Civic Center celebration to honor City Hall, and that is Steve Ravetria from the Giants and Mick Hellman from representing his family, who have been wonderful in partnering with us in making sure that we have a wonderful celebration for the people of San Francisco.
Thank you, Naomi, and thank you, Mr. Mayor, and for the opportunity to help plan what will be, I think, an incredible celebration. The Giants saw some great opportunity with this. We have a little bit of expertise the last 5 years of planning 3 incredible public celebrations here at City Hall. So when we were asked to participate, we said absolutely. We know how to create an incredible free event. We've had about 3 million people here celebrating with us over the last 5 years, and we're ready to do it again and again and again. But our next up on the docket is June 19th, and I think we are going to have a lot of fun. And I think part of that is working with the Hellman family on some incredible entertainment and also bringing some really amazing experiences to people here at City Hall and the Civic Center. Also, with our partners at Obscura, we'd be remiss to say this is about an incredible light show. And I think at the end of the day, when we turn those lights on and you see what's going to happen, you're going to be going, oh, wow, I got it, and it's going to be here, and it's going to be spectacular. So that is how thrilled we are to partner. And Mick, do you want to talk about some of the entertainment?
Sure. Steve, first of all, it's been a pleasure working with you to help pull this thing together. Like Wayne and Garth in Wayne's World, I feel like I'm not worthy. And in that spirit, I guess I want to say, thank you so much to everybody for giving us an opportunity to do what it is we love to do. And I'm saying this on behalf of myself and my wife Sabrina and the Hellman family, which is we love to present music to the public. It's our thing. And so we really view this as a great opportunity to do it. 100 years ago, coming out of the earthquake and the fire, the people of San Francisco, with determination and creativity, rebuilt the City Hall, and they built it bigger and better than it was before. And that, I think, is the way people here are. Music provided the soundtrack then. It provided the soundtrack now. Music also is a really amazing way to capture the history of how things felt at that moment in time. And the people of San Francisco expressing their determination and creativity have also created music that has been important on the world stage. And our goal with this event really is to do our best to bring all of that together in sort of a coherent but really fun framework for everybody. The way we're going to do it, we're going to run 2 stages. Our musical director for the evening is Chuck Prophet. One of the stages is going to be led by Chuck. The second is going to be led by LaVey Smith. And they will do their best to bring forward the rich musical history of San Francisco from the various different threads from different communities, and really do it in a way that is fun and very exciting. That'll be then followed after the lighting of the Obscura stuff with some DJs, and it'll be time to dance. And this is literally going to be the opportunity of a lifetime, because we're only doing it every 100 years. So if you don't get out there and have fun now, I don't know when you're going to have the opportunity. The team that's pulling it together, I do want to give my thanks to, obviously, to Chuck and LaVey, and also to Dawn Holliday, who works tirelessly behind the scenes to make these things happen, Sherry Sternberg, Susan Hirsch, who's here today and helped us as well with creating and planning this event. And that's it. We're really looking forward to having a great time and hope to see everybody there.
Absolutely. And then I think, Naomi, will you introduce Rich, or somebody has to pay for all of this? And Rich and Tanya took on that challenge, and we'll let them talk about our fundraising efforts.
Thank you. Let me acknowledge my wife, Tanya. She's not standing up here. She's being shy today, but she's not a shy person. She's been spending a lot of time helping work with Steve and Mick on planning all the various elements of the Centennial and the Centennial year. But since she has a zoo to run, literally, I have spent my time focused on the financial side of the equation, which is to help fund all these various things. And I have great news to report to you. But first, I want to thank Madam Administrator for all of your trust in us. Mayor Lee, thank you. This is a great honor. Charlotte, Mayor Brown, it's been great working with each of you over the course of the last months. In general terms, what we have collectively set out to produce, not only as an event, but the documentary that was mentioned, as well as the 2 lighting initiatives, which are going to be really extraordinary. That is a total $4 million, approximately a $4 million effort. Wonderfully, the city has budgeted $1.8 million towards the capital improvements to this City Hall, leaving a $2.2 million gap. So how do we raise $2.2 million when there's so many other incredible and needy causes around the city? Well, first of all, I'm here to tell you some very good news that we have raised, as of this morning, in the bank, $980,000 towards that $2.2 million goal. We have an addition of $400,000 pledged in hard commitments for a total of almost $1.4 million towards the $2.2 million gap goal that we set out to accomplish this year. That's a conservative number, in that a couple of the individuals who have pledged money thus far have indicated that they're likely going to give more than what I'm budgeting for. So that may be significantly higher, but we're not counting that before it's received, of course. So we're about a little more than a third of the way through the centennial year, and we're about 2/3 of the way through our fundraising. We feel very good about where we are, but we wouldn't be where we are today without the incredible generosity of our donors, corporate, but really driven by foundation and individual dollars. In fact, 2/3 of the money committed and raised to date have been from individuals and foundations. So these are just people doing good things for the city. I want to take an opportunity to acknowledge, of course, the Hellman family, Mick, and family and friends for their leadership at the very highest level. And I'd also like to acknowledge Bruce Hart with the Herbst Foundation, who happens to be here this morning. And Bruce, I think, gave us the most significant and early gift to help get this going. Excuse me, Bruce, with the Herbst Foundation. So I want to acknowledge them. So with that, I'll turn it back to Naomi, and thank you very much.
Okay, so to get the word out, we have developed a public service announcement, which I'd like to unveil. And we've created a promotional TV and radio spot that will be broadcast through KQED, the City Hall Centennial Celebration website at www.sfcityhall100.com, the SF Giants channels, and radio stations. We also invite the public to send in your favorite moments at City Hall via social media, and we thank SF Giants mascot Lucille for sending out the first tweet. So let's take a look at the video.
By the power vested in me, I declare you spouses for life.
World champions!
please join the people of San Francisco on Friday, June 19th in Civic Center Plaza to celebrate 100 years of San Francisco's City Hall. Happy birthday, City Hall!
This year, San Francisco's City Hall is turning 100, and you can join in the celebration by sharing your favorite City Hall memories online. Whether it was the day of the big game or that magical moment when you said I do. Just post your favorite City Hall memories with the hashtag SFCityHall100, and you can help to make this year's celebration one to remember. For more information, visit sfcityhall100.com.
Okay, thank you, and that ends our press conference. We're going to take a photo.